after consultation with premiers from all provinces and territories, after speaking with opposition leaders, the federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act.
Self-custody is one of those concepts that feels distant until suddenly it's the only thing that matters. Imagine waking up one day, checking your banking app, and suddenly it's just locked. No warnings, no explanation. Not because you overspent, not because of fraud, but because someone else decided that you shouldn't have access. That happened here in Canada, and it happens all around the world more often than you think. What is the role of money in society? You see, most of us take financial access for granted. We open our apps, we tap to pay, and we assume all the time that it will just work. We trust the banks. We trust the payment networks. But what happens when that trust is tested? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your money, when it sits in a bank, is only yours as long as the system and the technology allows it. In early 2022, right here in Ottawa, Canada, the Canadian trucker convoy made global headlines. And it revealed just how easily financial access can be restricted, even in a first world country and a stable democracy. The Canadian government took extraordinary action, freezing personal bank accounts. No court order, no legal process. It was unprecedented. And while the reasons were complex, the outcome was simple. People lost access to their own money. But Canada isn't alone. All around the world, people have faced similar financial shutdowns overnight. Now, this video isn't about politics. It's about permission. And it begs the question, who really controls your money? February 2022, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada's capital, here, was paralyzed by a movement known as the Freedom Convoy. A protest sparked in reaction to controversial government mandates related to the global COVID-19 pandemic. And in response, the Canadian federal government invoked the Emergency Act for the first time in Canadian history. And with it came sweeping action. Banks were given the legal authority without due process to freeze the personal bank accounts of those connected to the protest. Over 200 personal bank accounts were frozen, with no court proceedings, no convictions, just overnight policy. Now again, this video isn't about the protest. It's about something much more important and much deeper. Something some people never think about. When your money is in someone else's system or someone else's hands, it can be taken from you or restricted from you. And that brings us here today. This video is not about who is right or wrong. It's not about politics, and it's not about protests. This video is about permission. It's about a shift in the way that we think about money. It's about decentralization and self-custody, and the infrastructure for true financial freedom. What happened in Canada isn't a story about blockchain or cryptocurrency, but it became one. It made Canadians and people all around the world ask, what would I do if I suddenly lost access to my money, my freedom, by forces outside of my control? What options do I have when the system that holds my money breaks down? And what would it look like to hold my money myself? Self-custody means one thing. You hold your own money. Not the government, not the bank, not any corporation, payment platform, or app, only you. That means nobody else can move, freeze, or seize your assets. Not because they're ethical or responsible, but because they're literally and technically unable to do so. Now, most people hear Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and they immediately think of get-rich-quick schemes. They think of price charts going up and down. They think of online gambling, or worse, they think of scams and fraud. But the undebatable truth is, it's powerful financial technology. A monetary system that empowers individuals with equal access, rights, and freedoms. When you practice self-custody, you hold your assets yourself. No middlemen, no gatekeepers, no one else with their hands in your pocket. And this isn't just a technical feature. It's a fundamental shift in financial power. Now you might be wondering, why do I have to know about self-custody? Wasn't the Freedom Convoy just an isolated event? Do we really need a whole new monetary system just because of this one-off? Unfortunately, that's not the case. What happened in Canada was not an isolated event. It's part of a global pattern that shows how easily financial freedom can be restricted by governments, corporations, or even technical failures, and just how quickly it can all happen. In the past 15 years, these moments proved the point. In 2010, we saw the WikiLeaks payment blockade. When WikiLeaks released classified US documents showcasing deep and severe government corruption, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and Bank of America stopped all payments and donations to the organization. The decisions were made by the corporations, effectively blacklisting a cause overnight. In 2013, we saw the Cyprus bank crisis. Facing financial collapse, Cyprus froze bank accounts, set withdrawal limits, and even confiscated a portion of citizens' savings without notice. People woke up to their life savings inaccessible as bank policy shifted immediately. In 2015, we saw the Greek capital controls. In a national debt crisis, Greek banks shut for weeks. ATM withdrawals were limited to just 60 euros a day per person. Businesses and families were suddenly on a cash squeeze, which limited their ability to conduct business, travel, and to live their lives. Ordinary citizens lost access to their own money, not because of personal actions, but because of government policy. In 2016, we had Indian demonetization. In a bid to fight corruption, 86% of Indian cash was instantly declared as invalid. Millions of people spent days in line at banks, unable to access their own savings as new bills slowly rolled out. Overnight, government action restricted people's ability to use their own money. In 2023, we had the Nigeria withdrawal limits. The central bank set strict withdrawal caps to push digital payments, leaving many, especially the unbanked, unable to access enough cash for daily needs. Policy shifted, and suddenly families and small businesses couldn't get access to their own funds. And in Venezuela, we've seen one of the worst cases of hyperinflation. Out of control inflation and government controls destroyed savings, limited withdrawals, and pushed people to barter or adopt alternative money systems. Policy and economic instability made personal bank balances barely usable, demonstrating fragility of trust in financial intermediaries. And lastly, over the past 15 years, we've seen countless payment network outages, like in Europe in 2018 or in Canada in 2022. Technical failures at Visa and MasterCard saw millions unable to pay for groceries or their bills. Not because of the government, but because the network just went down. Even without policy or politics, relying on centralized systems means you're exposed to technical problems. No cash, no alternatives, and no warnings. All of these examples contain complicated and nuanced context around them. They differ in cause, they differ in culture, and they differ in governance, but they all share one outcome. Someone else controlled the money. Someone else had the power to block, freeze, or seize money that wasn't theirs. Self-custody was violated. So what's the alternative?
Blockchains are like a constitution at their core. When you look at a blockchain, what's written in it can't be violated. If it says this is the monetary policy, that's the monetary policy. If this is your right as a user of the system, the operator of the system or some power like the United States or China can't come in and change it because reasons. It is what it is. So if you believe in sound money, so deflationary monetary policy, and you believe in choose liberty, meaning follow the Constitution, it's directly compatible with the blockchain. And the other thing is that it's non-aggression principle, non-violence, this humble foreign policy, everybody in the world is treated equally. So it doesn't matter what language you speak, it doesn't matter where you're born, it doesn't matter where you come from, you have the same rights as the founders of the system. And that's just not the case in the legacy world. If you're Bill Gates or me and you use a bank, they kiss your ass. Your private client, they'll do anything. You have numbers you can call and just say, I need this and this. Oh, of course, we'll drop off a pallet of cash in front of your house. And they'll do that. You can't do that as a poor farmer in Senegal or things like that. You not even have a bank account. But in a cryptocurrency, my use is identical to that farmer in Senegal's use. So it was in many ways a spiritual successor to the concepts of that liberty movement and people wanting to have something that was divorced from the corruption and the nepotism and had some principles behind it that were almost like the laws of physics. They're immutable, they're invariable, you can't change them.
That is the best explanation of cryptocurrency I've ever heard in my life.
Evidently, cryptocurrency isn't just about speculation. It's a technology that empowers citizens, giving everyone equal access to financial tools, no matter where you're from or who you are. Cryptocurrency isn't about getting rich quick. It's not about coin prices. Just like a stock price doesn't define a business, a coin price doesn't define the cryptocurrency. Crypto is about access, permissionless access, and censorship resistance. In a decentralized system, no one controls your access. There's no switch that someone can flip. That's the power of crypto. A system built on transparent rules. Rules that can't be changed. Not by governments, not by corporations, not by anyone. And those rules apply equally. From cities like London, New York, and Paris, to rural Ghana, Mumbai, and the jungles of Laos, the rules are the same for everyone, and they can't be changed. So how do you take the first step? How do you actually start protecting your financial freedom? Here's how to start protecting your financial freedom. Step 1, open a self-custodial wallet. Ideally, pick one that doesn't require ID or personal information to set up. Write down your 12-word recovery phrase and store it offline to ensure you're not prone to hacks. Step 2, move a small amount of money into that self-custodial wallet. Buy a bit of Bitcoin and send it to your self-custodial wallet. Test it, see how it works, and learn how to use it. Step 3, build an emergency fund. Keep a portion of your assets in decentralized assets like Bitcoin, using self-custody outside the traditional banking system. Not all of your assets, but enough to give yourself options if faced with one of these financial crises. Step 4, understand the assets. Not all cryptocurrency is decentralized. Bitcoin is, but many others are not. Learn the difference and invest your trust accordingly. Step 5, practice responsibility. Back up your keys and secure your devices. Stay informed about security and take it seriously. Self-custody isn't just about protection. It comes with benefits too. You can move money globally, instantly. With no banks, no paperwork, and no borders. You can use stable coins or access dollar-based assets in unstable economies. And you can transact peer-to-peer, fast, and nearly feeless, 24/7. This isn't just for tech experts. It's for anyone who wants to be more resilient and financially free. Self-custody is not one big rejection of the system. It's a backup plan. It's about having options and peace of mind. Because in a world of uncertainty, you deserve to control your financial future. These moments aren't just history. They're reminders. Access to your money often depends on trust. Trust in governments, trust in companies, and trust in systems that can fail. Self-custody puts the keys in your hands. So no third party, not even the most powerful, can freeze or seize what's yours. So learn more. Take the first step. Visit CryptoCity.network because financial freedom doesn't start with someone else. It starts with you. The CryptoCity Network is a nonprofit initiative working to normalize cryptocurrency use. It empowers individuals, supports businesses, and strengthens communities by enabling over 70 million merchants worldwide to accept cryptocurrency. And it fosters real-life adoption in 14 crypto cities across 10 different countries. This is more than just technology. It's the infrastructure for true freedom.